So the next project that I'm going to tackle is partially our guest room. Our current guest room. It's a lot of storage. But primarily, we're going to be focusing on this area. The closet, because I'm going to turn it into like an office area. So then it can be somewhat useful. I have to go through these boxes. Some are thrift. Some just need to be stored better. I'm going to take out this shelf. Probably paint in there, because why not? I have the paint. And then take the doors off. I don't know. We're just kind of like wing it and see what happens. I hate these shelves, wire shelves, so much. It's not even funny. So these guys don't have any screws. See, everything is like that. So you want to get a flathead screwdriver and just kind of wiggle it out. Like that. And pulls right out. This is the only stuff I use for filling nail holes or giant anchor holes. Goes on pink, turns white when it's dry. I don't know how to take these off, but can't be that hard, right? Famous last words. Okay, I got one off, and I kind of broke it. So I'll try and get this one off and not break it, but if it happens, I guess it happens. All right, that was way easier than the last one. Now, I don't always care about what the next homeowner wants when it comes to my decision on projects. However, I am going to keep these bifold doors just in case the next people want to turn this back into a full-on closet. So that means I'm going to keep all the track. I'm going to keep the bottom parts. So if need be, the doors can go back on. So I don't know what to do now. I didn't want to have to paint around this guy, but I didn't want to take him down either. But I looked on Pinterest at some really cute closet offices, and now I want to take this down. Before I do anything drastic, I have to figure out what I'm going to do for the desk. I have this filing cabinet over there. So I was thinking I could have a file cabinet on each side and then like a desktop, right? But I hate the color of that one. And I found ones like, I'm either going to go white or black. I'm not really sure which way I'm going to go yet. But I'm going to tape it out and kind of go from there. So my dilemma with the closet is I have this like lip, right? Like the wall is like recessed. Mommy. So by having a filing cabinet, it has to be out here. So I'm going to have some space between the filing cabinet and the wall. So one filing cabinet is 18.5 inches wide and the other one is 16. I'm thinking I'll probably end up going with the 16 just because I have 6 inches of space in here that is not going to be usable. So I'm sorry, I don't know where to look when my phone is on its side. Over here is the camera. So that's where I'm going to try and look. So I have to mark out 6 inches, which is like right about here. And we're just going to like roughly do this. So 6 inches is right here. So 18 inches would make that right there. Yeah, I think the 16 one is going to be, it's going to end up being how it goes. So. I really have no idea how tall this thing is. I think it was 20. Should I do 26? This is like 24. 26 will give me a couple more inches. Okay. Way too high.
Okay.
Oh, that's so nice, buddy.
I bring 2, one for you, one for me. They're so good. Oh, that's mine.
Oh, okay. Thanks, bud.
Yeah, I just bring that if you want to have it.
Oh, there you go. That does not seem very big. But I gotta get the other one taped up for reference on how wide the center part will be. Let's make it even smaller. All right, plenty of room on both sides. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and order the 16-inch ones. And then can decide what to do with this. Ah! It's really easy to fix these giant holes that are left by anchors. They might look scary, but they're not that bad. So take your little putty knife and just scrape away any, I don't know, so it's smooth, okay? Take your spackling and just shove it on in there. Okay, and it's okay to overfill. It's actually better to overfill. And then, once these bad boys are all dry, they'll be white and ready to sand. Time to paint because I have no chill. I'm just going to do any cutting around the baseboards and corners and whatnot like that until the stuff dries. Plus I don't have a roller, so I'm gonna get that tomorrow. But I'm gonna paint these walls Snowbound by Sherwin Williams. I will probably never buy paint from Sherwin Williams anymore because I cannot stand, hold on. I can't stand that the cans rust on the top. You know what I'm talking about. This part right here is metal and it rusts and it drives me crazy. So I buy the Pittsburgh Paramount. I don't know where you can get this. I get it at my local Menards, and I just pick a color from Sherwin Williams, bring it in, and they color match it for me. But this is the color I have. Anytime I paint a room, I paint it this color, except for the kids' space room that was not Snowbound. It was like the opposite of Snowbound. You say hi.
Hi.
This is also my favorite painting brush, especially for cutting. It's short, it fits in my hand really great, 2-inch angled, and it's got super soft bristles, so it makes cutting in edges really great. So we're back in this closet today, and I'm going to be painting. I did measure the back of the closet, and I've decided that I'm going to be doing a vertical shiplap on the back wall. It's going to cost me like $30 to do, and here's why. I'm going to be buying some 8-foot by 4-foot backer board, is what it's called, and I'm going to rip it down into 8-foot sections, 8 feet by, I don't know, 4 inches. We'll figure that out later. But that means I'm not going to paint this back wall because I think I want to do something fun, some kind of like different color. I'm kind of thinking of like a moody pink rose type color. Not 100% sure yet, but that means I'm not going to paint the back wall, the Snowbound. I'm just going to do the edges and then the ceiling. So I'm going to address the filled holes and what you can do to knock down so then the holes are basically invisible. You can either get a sanding block or you can do something called wet sanding. I've only done it a handful of times, but you get a rag and you get it wet, and then you use the rag to knock down the spackling. And it's really great because it does take the spackling off of the texture. So then you're not left with like this flat spot on your wall if you have a textured wall. Look at that. Once you paint over it, you won't even see it. Okay, here's what we're doing. I have these 4-foot by 8-foot hardboard boards that I picked up from Menards for like $12.50 each. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rip them down into 6-inch strips, and then I'm gonna get them painted, primed, painted, nailed up, and then kind of go from there. I do not have a table saw, I should probably get one, but I don't have one at this point. So I have my dad's circular saw. It has this like smaller teeth blade on it, which I really love. So what I'm gonna do is lay these out. I think I'm gonna have to do them one by one. And then I have a 10-foot 2x4 back behind that fridge over there. I'm gonna pull that out and I'm gonna use that as a guide for the saw to cut down. Now, these boards are very, very thin. Sorry, these boards are very thin. And like, see how far this blade sticks out? I don't necessarily need it that far. So what I'm gonna do is do this one way or another, and see, you can like change the depth of the blade depending on how thick the wood is that you're cutting. So I think I'm gonna do it like that. Okay, lock that in, and then I'll get these set up. Now that I got everything ripped down, I'm going to cut them with my miter saw to the length that I need, which is 91.5 inches. So I'm not removing any of the baseboards, and quite honestly, if it comes up a little bit short on the bottom, I don't really care. Most of it's gonna be covered, the bottom part, by a desk, filing cabinets, whatever. So I'm gonna do that before I get started on priming and painting. So I got my boards out here. I'm gonna do 4 at a time. This is the primer that I'm gonna use, Bullseye 123 primer for all surfaces. I just always get a gallon of it because I know I'm gonna use it. I use a little 4-inch roller, and I'm just like not in the mood to do any extra cleanup tonight. So I'm going to just dunk this in the gallon and slap it on these boards. All right, it's time to paint the shiplap. Shane is gone this morning, which is great because I don't want him to see the paint color. I don't want him to see any of it until it's up, until it's installed. So since he's gone, I'm gonna take this time to get some paint on them, get a few up. There were a few of the shiplap pieces that were cut wonky or whatever. So I'm putting up like the nice ones first and then gonna like go from there. All right, what I'm gonna be doing is installing the shiplap and then painting the walls on either side of the boards as I install them. I'm gonna start in the middle and work my way out. That way my 2 end pieces are the same. I had contemplating starting just on this end and working my way, but I'm afraid this end piece will be weird. So this way I'm just ensuring that both end pieces will be the same. Now I'm just gonna be using nails to secure the shiplap up onto the wall. You can use like adhesive of some kind, but I really don't like using adhesive because if you ever want to remove it, it's just going to destroy the drywall. So nails, at least you can pull it out and you just have to fill nail holes, and it's a lot easier. What you'll need is a nail gun. I love my cordless Ryobi nail gun. 18 gauge is what I have. It's just a very universal gauge. I'm going to use 1.25 inch nails. They don't need to be super long. I felt like 1 inch might have been just too short. A level to make sure that everything is perfectly straight, and then a tape measure to measure where the center of the wall is. Seven. Yeah. Okay. But I am doing something right now. You can go throw it away. There's a garbage in the bathroom. While I have some more boards drying, I am going to fill all these nail holes on the shiplap that's already up. So first I'm gonna make sure all the nail holes are below the surface of the shiplaps with this like punch. This is way too big. I need to go get a smaller one and a hammer. And then I'm gonna fill all the holes with this wood filler, sand it down, and then I can roll on the second coat of paint. Here's the right size. Now all I'm doing with these filled nail holes is I'm taking a little sanding sponge and smoothing them down. Now the thing with using this hardboard is it's not going to be perfectly smooth, but I'm fine with that. But just as like a disclosure, it'll be pretty smooth, but it won't be as perfect as real legit shiplap would be. But it's like 1/4 of the cost, so it's worth it to me. So we've hit a spot here where a full piece is not going to fit. We're going to have to notch out a little bit for this ledge. So I grabbed a scrap piece from cutting the ends off. I'm going to put it here about where it's going to be, like from this board. Mark it where I need to cut it. And then I'll measure how tall this jut out is, draw it on one of my pieces upstairs, and then take a jigsaw and cut it out. So that method did not work because walls are never straight, which is super fun. So what I did was I took this scrap piece, held it up here straight. Okay, straight up and down. And then I took a pencil and the sanding block. The sanding block is kind of like my spacer. And I ran it along the wall and scribed basically the profile of the wall onto this. There's like literally, like, do you see that line right there? And there's like a full 3/4 of an inch difference. And it varies. Like right here is a whole inch more than down there. It's kind of a disaster. So now what I'm going to do is I need, let's see, how do I explain this? The bottom of this board needs to be 3 7/8 inches wide. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to have to cut this. I'm probably going to need to cut on this line so then I have it as like a template. And then line up this bottom part at the 3 inch or the 3 7/8 inch on a full board. And then trace that to get my template onto a new board. Yeah, I think that's the plan. It's okay if it's not like flush against the wall or anything over here, because like the desk is gonna come here and it's like, it's really not that big of a deal. But how I had cut it was like so badly off. So I'm hoping this will at least make it a little bit tighter. This is awesome. One thing I've noticed with this hardboard is like pencil is really hard to see. So I'm gonna trace over this with like a permanent marker and then cut it, because it's just too hard to see while I'm cutting. This is my setup. It's not great, but it should work. Well, it's not perfect, but it is a heck of a lot better than it was. So now I gotta transfer this design onto another board. Now that I've got this cut, I'm gonna have, this is the line that I need to trace onto this board. I wanna make sure that it's set at 3 3/4. And then I gotta go measure down in the basement where that top part needs to be. And then I will trace there, cut it off, and hypothetically should fit. Look what a crooked line that is. I have a feeling. Oh my gosh, it's worse than the other one. I know what I did. I did it backwards. Freaking A. So the first time I traced this, I traced it like this. And then the line was bowing in, but I need it to bow it out. So I'm gonna flip it and put it against this side. This is the part where I screwed up. Thank goodness I have all these extra sheets. So I'm gonna do the same thing that I did the other way, but this time it'll bow. No, that way it'll bow in too. I need to do it like this. Because this is the part, this is the side that's staying, and I'm cutting away this part. So, and I need it to bow in. Oh, so I gotta cut it. I just had it backwards before, but okay. It just keeps getting worse and worse. What the heck am I doing wrong? Oh, I'm getting so upset. I swear, if this one doesn't fit, I'm gonna lose my ever-loving mind. Holy balls fits. Trim a little bit and stuff some paint on. Well, I hate the color. So, I went and got 2 samples of these 2 colors. This is what it is right now. So, for like comparison. So, we're going to slap this paint up. I'm pretty sure this one is called Purple Beech. This one right here. Purple Beech. And then this one is Pleasantly Plum. Right now on Instagram, Purple Beech is winning for votes. But we're gonna get up on the wall and see what it does. See what it looks like. I feel very good. I feel very good about this. Oh, that is so pretty. I'm gonna go wash this off. Did I film the reel I had in my head before I did this? Why am I the way that I am? Ooh. Oh, dang. Okay. This might be this might be more difficult than I thought. I met my mom at Sherwin Williams. She had a shirt that I really liked the color of, and I wanted to try and color match to the shirt. And then lo and behold, the shirt that she was wearing was like identical to River Rouge, which is the color that's already painted. You want to show them your cake pop? Yeah, boy.
Get closer.
Oh. The 2 colors that we walked away with were these 2. Next to River Rouge, like River Rouge looks super brown. So I'm at Lowe's right now. I'm gonna get 2 samples of these 2 colors. Menards does not open till 9. Lowe's is already open and the sample sizes are the exact same size. I'm going to decide between the Purple Beech or one of these 2 colors. And then Sherwin Williams is having a sale right now. So I'm gonna go back there and get a quart size sample. It's gonna be less than 10 bucks. And then the quart will do the whole wall. 2 more samples to try. This one is rubbing off on me. Like, it does look really nice, but I just don't know if it's quite what I have in mind. I'm gonna try these. Okay, this one is called Concerto. And this one is called Audrey's Blush, which I think is really pretty. We'll see though. Now I'm gonna let them dry because, you know, the color is never the true color when it's wet. I think I'm gonna be doing this one. I'm gonna wait till it dries, but that's just instinct thought. Because I know I'm gonna be repainting this, I am going to be taking off the last shiplap piece so then I can paint the wall. Because otherwise I'm gonna have to like use like a super tiny brush, and that sounds annoying. How do I do this without dinging up the wall? That's my question. Nail there. Just gotta pull a couple nails out and we're all good. That was easier than I thought it would be. What's your pick besides the color that's already it is? I think I know which one I'm gonna do.
Surprised you're doing any of those. That?
I think that's the one I'm gonna go with.
The one is super light.
Yeah, it's too light. The other one I feel like is almost like too pink.
I would say it's really pink.
This one, I know you didn't like that one at first yesterday, and it looked way more pink yesterday, but it's like as it dried, it got...
This one looks way more pink than that.
Well, I decided on a color. It's gonna be this one. Since I have a sample of it, I have a chiropractor appointment in a couple hours, so that's when I'm gonna go get like the actual paint. But since I already have a sample size of it, I'm gonna start cutting along the walls where I don't have any shiplap. So I don't have to do it later. It looks crazy right now. Should I just leave it like this? Yikes. So this piece that I cut yesterday, see how the edge is like super rough? Just take a sanding block and just knock those little pieces off so that it's not so jagged looking. When painting the shiplap and you're doing the edges, what you want to do really quick with your roller, do the edges, and then before moving on to the next section, just roll over the top really quick to smooth out any paint that may have creased there in the edge. I'll kind of show you. So when you're doing this, see how it can like have a crease right there? Just run your roller over it really quick, smooth it out, and you're good to go. I got this piece in. Look how beautiful that ended up. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. So I have this last piece that I need to do. I cut this from one of the pieces that I screwed up on when I was trying to cut out for that shelf area. I need to trim it down probably like 1/8 of an inch. It's a little bit too long, but it's obviously too thick. So I'm going to be measuring that area and then just cutting it straight. One of the nice things with having the paint against the wall, even if the shiplap doesn't butt up against the wall, the paint will help give it like the illusion that it is and give it a nice finished look. Almost done. So this is what the final wall looks like. I absolutely am obsessed with the color. It's a little bit off from the screen from what it looks like in real life, but it is perfection. Now, if I would have picked the correct color right off the bat, this wall would have cost me less than $35. But because I had a bunch of the paint changes, it came out to a little bit more than $50. Overall, still way cheaper than it would have been buying actual shiplap boards. I actually did the math, and 12 boards at $12 a piece would have cost me well over $150. And because I actually screwed up 3 times cutting this board, it would have cost me close to $200 to do. So ripping down the shiplap from this hardboard is definitely the way to go. The thing is, there are imperfections because everything's cut by hand. So there is a spot down there where the seam is almost completely disappeared. Right there. Janky walls, that's just how it is. I'm fine with it because the desk is going to be coming up and covering most of the imperfections that are down at the bottom. If you found this video helpful, I would so appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. And if you want to see the rest of this closet turned office transformation, be sure to hit subscribe so then you can stay up to date with all the updates as I share them. And let me know in the comments, is this something that you would tackle?